It is May 2nd, 2019. Wikispeed stand-up for the week. And I'm just going to pause it here until Lauren joins us. Okay, it's Michael Olchuk, Saskatoon, Canada. Stand-up for the week. I posted last week's stand-up. I received my Raspberry Pi 3B Plus kit along with infrared diodes, receivers, a small motor controller, which I really wasn't expecting quite so quick, a Bluetooth adapter for the Arduino, a DC volt and ammeter display. So I do have some hardware to test when I get to it. I invited 3 new team members to the group because I recently found out it wasn't being done automatically. And I purchased a new servo, actually 2 new servos on Tuesday, one for my CNC project and one for the remote control truck to mount the sonar and the infrared sensors on. I also got a USB boost converter so I can power the Pi from 1 or 2 NiCad cells and a battery holder. So, unfortunately, purchasing stuff is about all I did because life got in the way. And for next week, I am hoping. Where did I put that? Yep, I seem to have misplaced where. Okay. I guess I'm going to be doing some video, doing a little bit of testing of the beacon and wiring up the beacon. That's all I had for the week. And that's about it for me. Are you ready, Lauren?
Yes. Hi, so it's Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada. And the past week, I looked more into object-oriented. So I followed up on a person that I know made a recommendation and stuff. The best way to learn about object-oriented things. And so I downloaded and started to teach myself something called Pharaoh. He's a small talk guy, and the closest. It's kind of the current iteration for the small talk, which was the original object-oriented type of thing. So that and coming week, hopefully, I'm not anticipating too much. This coming week, I am running a marathon this weekend without a LRW beside me this time, but I got another one coming at least in August, maybe. That's and so I was kind of targeting the August. It's early August for some kind of a test of something running early. I think that's a plan, but anyway, and so in the meanwhile, I'm going to Vancouver to run this weekend, and with other things. So I don't anticipate getting much done coming week, and that's like the block of getting past the half marathon, and that's it for me.
There, am I unmuted? I think so.
No, no.
Okay. So for retrospect or retro, I'm going to give myself, I think it's about 4.5 or 5 out of 10 because I didn't get anywhere near 10 points for the work done this week. And But I did post stand up last week, and I will be doing this week. I think I need to reduce my my projected points. I haven't been hitting 10 here lately, so I'm gonna try 5, see if I can get closer to that. And for the team, I'm gonna go with 7.5 because there has been almost no chatter on the group lately. So losing a little bit of momentum. I guess that's partly due to the fact that we haven't posted anything for a while. So. And I guess that's about it for me.
Okay, since Lauren, my retro, I'm going to make 5 because I did some research that hopefully will be fruitful at some point, and I went to a Linux meeting and kind of talked about that same thing because they had the same question about object oriented and okay, and for my so that's 5 for me and 10 for the team, and process improvement. I liked the one last week, but yeah, I don't see a reason to do another one at this point. But I do want in crosstalk. I do want to talk about what I found out about object oriented.
Okay, I believe that we are done for the week. I didn't have a process improvement, so I didn't mention it. Remind me again what our process improvement was last week, because I don't think I did anything on it.
It was thinking of things that might incent people, such as paying them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't make any progress on that, so I guess carryover makes sense.
Yeah, I did think of on this project, if we a kind of a goal might be to, since it's all open source, great, publicize it and everything, but we could do something like if we get somewhere, offer a kit, a minimal kind of kit.
Yeah, that would probably make things more popular. I don't know how much effort it is required to make a kit, but I hear that there are sites that will actually, like if you make a bill of materials from Amazon, that they will actually kit it up for you, buy the quantities and put them in bags and stuff.
That could even actually recruit people. So if you offered it at a decent price and support, then the process of support could involve come to our meeting.
Well, and it would certainly get the forum on Wiki Project a little bit more active.
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to get something working first.
Yep.
So that takes us to crosstalk. You had wanted to talk about something.
Yeah. So basically, I got this recommendation of if you want to learn about the kind of the current state of like real hardcore, which what I'm thinking is real hardcore object oriented. Because a little background, I worked with this guy around 2004, and he was an object oriented small talk guy, as well as primarily that was what I was interested in. So I reached out to him with LinkedIn, and he made a recommendation. Look at a thing called Pharo, Pharo, and it's like a very complete environment. And then that reminded me that small talk predated, of course, Lisa and the Macintosh. It was actually stolen by Lisa and the Macintosh because it was developed. It was a Xerox project, and called the Palo Alto Research Center. Alan Kay developed object-oriented, and he developed the windows and the mouse and the dragging and dropping. He did that in order to have the idea, that a computer language is a very limited kind of language. And so a lot of it is learning and then typing in the parts of the language, and you have various kinds of documentation. So his idea of documentation or having an environment you could use just was to have the whole thing accessible through various windows. And so it's mainly dragging and dropping and then dragging methods over to classes and things like that. And it does generate code, but they said it's not terribly readable. I haven't tried it yet. So I just got started. I started reading, but the book I liked, the PDF they had with it. It's called Pharaoh by Example, which is exactly what I was looking for. Because essentially it's sort of self-documenting, but so it basically walks you through examples showing you how it works. And so kind of that's and the guy I worked with always was skeptical of Java. At the time, Java was considered like the object-oriented thing, and he was always questioning, saying, "Oh, but it doesn't really have full inheritance or some other terms, some other technical terms." So he was sort of skeptical about it, but I think it was because Smalltalk was a whole kind of way of thinking along with like a really early IDE, very full-featured kind of IDE. A drag and drop, but it was the original drag and drop. It wasn't like built from somewhere else, from Windows or Macintosh or Lisa or anything. So anyways, where I'm at is I'm just working my way through this book. I read one of the examples, which is a game. They seem to all be games examples of object-oriented things. The Python stuff also as a game, and they talk about how games are the best way to learn. They're hard. In a sense, they show you everything. So that's as far as I've gotten. And that's it. That's everything I've got so far. But it seems worth it to me to understand, because the Python and Java both talk a lot about object oriented, but I haven't seen really good examples of resources as to how to understand the object oriented. They talk about some of the terms to do with them. So I thought, well, go back to the source. So that's pretty much as far as I've gotten so far. It's open source, and so it seems to be lively. One thing is a bit of a downside for me, but it may not be such, because it doesn't use Git. It has its own version control called Monticello, and so seems to be all kind of a ecosystem, but it doesn't. I would rather strengthen my Git skill if I'm working on doing version. But there may be reasons for that. One of them is that I think it doesn't have very useful code or text. I think you need, if you want to look at an earlier version, you want to look at their visual environment, a diff, for example, within their visual environment. So that's about it. That's all I got for.
Okay, so Pharaoh is, like you said, they have an example. It's a game. Do they have anything that will do communication stuff like we were talking about having for the master, talking to the slaves and stuff?
I can't say for sure. The whole concept of it is messages. So everything deep down into the language, it's built on so there's nothing gets invoked or called. It's all a message is sent. But I don't know if that actually, or if they have examples, but I will take a look and see if I can find anything like that.
Okay. because small talk was difficult to get your head around, but
Right.
it was also was very good at stuff like physics, where you would float an object above a table and it would have inertia and then resistance and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
all of those things, all those attributes could be changed about an object. But in terms of actually addressing hardware or sending a stream of data somewhere, it was pretty tough.
Okay.
Or at least
Okay. So
I remember it being
you
pretty tough. I'm not sure if it was.
wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Then I'll check it out. Yeah. But that's so you tried it.
I heard stories about it. When I went through university, we had one course that was actually about programming languages and the strengths and weaknesses of the various methods.
Right.
And they told us enough about small talk to kind of make us drool and showed us a couple of demos. And then they said, but mostly it's an academic language, and we looked and we couldn't actually find any useful examples that weren't operating systems or games.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Good to know. And actually, I'll check that out. My purpose is actually to jump back to Python.
okay.
And
Good.
then apply the, because, okay, I'll give you an example. I've got a far-fetched example here. So I run barefoot in order to train my muscles to use very different muscles in running. It takes 6 months, they say, to get decent barefoot. Then in practice, in a race, I need to wear those minimal kind of barefoot type shoes, because there's roots and glass. Well, not so much glass I don't worry about, but just there's various stuff that you run into.
Well,
So
roots and sharp rocks and stuff.
yeah. So in practice I run, but in order to get the feel for running barefoot, I have to actually run barefoot. So in the same way I'm doing, in order to get the feel for object oriented and get into the habits of it, I'm going to look at Pharaoh, but my plan is to jump back into Python's object-oriented aspects, understanding a little more about object-oriented, and use that. So it's a little bit of a roundabout thing. I'm probably not going to devote. I'll probably go back and forth with Python, like a few hours of each, rather than just immerse myself in Pharaoh for a month. But I'm hoping the result will be that I can get better at understanding the object orientation, the usefulness and pitfalls.
Well, I'm sure that you have enough languages under your belt that whatever works for you works for you. So.
Okay. Okay.
I don't really have anything else to talk about. Neither of us talked about blocks. Blocks is just life getting in the way.
Yeah, I mentioned the marathon. So once I get that done this Sunday, then and recovering from it through the next Sunday, then I'll probably get back into things.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye-bye.